What's going on, everyone? Hopefully you guys are all having a good day so far, and of course, welcome to the Mod Kid channel. I'm really excited for Resident Evil 9, but unfortunately there's just not enough news to really cover it in a full video, so I figured why don't we go back and look at all of the other entries in the Resident Evil games and break down what is, in my opinion, the top 10 best Resident Evil soundtracks. This list was completely compiled together by yours truly, so please go down in the comments below and let me know how I did on my list, and also feel free to share your guys' favorite Resident Evil music down below in the comments as well. I'm a big admirer of video game music because personally I think it just really sets the tone for that video game, but there's a lot of great music in the Resident Evil franchise in my opinion. So when I tell you that this one barely made it into the top 10 list, I am not joking. This song was actually used as the opening theme of Resident Evil 7, but I thought it was such a good song that I actually chose to use it as my save room theme for Resident Evil Village, which you can do so by opting out to use the cassette player as your source of saving instead of the typewriter. Now my 9th favorite song in the Resident Evil franchise is simply just the main menu music of RE6. I remember back when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I had a really good friend of mine who got Resident Evil 6 for his birthday, and I was there when he got it, and we were both so hyped that we stayed up the whole night playing the hell out of this game. So I have a lot of good memories of this game, and the main menu theme just feels super nostalgic to me. Now, personally, I'm more of a fan of the save room music in Resident Evil games, and I think when it comes to RE6, this was one of the closest ones we've got when it comes to save room music. I really like the combination of eerie atmosphere and calming music in video games, and as we all know, Resident Evil 6 didn't have a single ounce of that. But now on to number 8, which is actually going to be the first save room music in this list, and that is the save room theme from RE0. Now, I will say, even though I didn't first experience RE0 until the summer of 2022, this game does have a very special place in my heart just because it came out just about a week or so after I was born. There's a couple of flaws about Resident Evil 0, like the lack of the item box, and also the fixed camera angles, and also the fact that we had to switch off between characters, which is something unique and quite different for us Resident Evil fans. Regardless, the cutscenes, characters, locations, and music were all spot on. But now let's move on to number 7. Now, this one wasn't a save room theme, but I still think it's one of the best songs that we've ever had in a Resident Evil game. The first time we ever got to hear this song was during the 4th Survivor DLC of the RE2 remake, and I had a lot of fun not only playing the RE2 remake, but of course the 4th Survivor DLC as well. I played the 4th Survivor DLC so much that I actually have several speedruns of it up on my channel. But one thing that'll always pop into my head when I hear Looming Dread is Resident Evil Reverse. For anyone that knows me well enough or has seen my channel before, then you would know that Resident Evil Reverse helped put me on the map and gave me a lot of really awesome experiences that I'm forever grateful for. Between RE2 Remake and this, I don't think I've ever listened to an RE song more in my life. I could sit here and talk about how sad I am about that game shutting down for the rest of this video, but everyone else is moving on from that game, and I think it's about time that I do the same. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the library theme from Resident Evil 5, and if anyone knows me well enough, then you would know that Resident Evil 5 is my favorite game in the entire franchise. I would like to think that this one is a little bit more of a lesser known and more underrated song in the Resident Evil franchise because it only plays during the library section of RE5, in which you get to view all the figurines in.
Leave it to me. Hold on!
This theme for me is very high up on nostalgia points. Now we've made it to the halfway point of this video, and this one is, in my opinion, the 5th best Resident Evil song of all time. The entire soundtrack to RE1 Remake is freaking great, but I think the Safe Heaven song is without a doubt the best one in the entire soundtrack. Like I said previously, something about the eerie looking horror games combined with the super calming music during its more settling times of the game just totally wraps up that horror game super well, and all around just sets the tone for that game perfectly. I can't go without pointing out that I was super tempted to add Safe Haven from RE5 Lost in Nightmares on this list, but as a matter of fact, it is a remix of this song, so I didn't think it would be very fair to add a remix version on this list. But now the entries are going to start getting really good, because now we're moving into number 4, which is Free From Fear from RE3 1999. I think there's been so many different iterations and versions of the OG RE1 save room theme, and just some of their other great save room themes for that matter, but when it comes to the OG RE3, that one is simply in a class of its own, and it's just super unique to itself, and also just all around perfectly fits the tone for RE3 Nemesis. I think if I'm not wrong, they tried to remake Free From Fear in the RE3 remake, but as we all know, it just wasn't the same. I'm not sure what video games were doing back then that they can't do now, but for some reason the classic RE games save room music and just all around soundtracks were some of the best of all time. This song also has the power of nostalgia on its side, so now I want to play this game again. The entire soundtrack of the original RE4 is just absolutely outstanding, so I knew I needed to include that soundtrack somewhere in this list, and I think in my opinion, Serenity is the best song in the OG RE4. Usually you hear the Serenity theme while you're talking to the merchant, so that song is already associated with a pretty chill part of the game. Just like most fans of the series, I've been playing RE4 for a very long time now, and if there's two things I absolutely love about video games, it's horror games with chill elements and calming music, and of course it's also nostalgia. And RE4 has both of those things. Another one, of course, that's really great when it comes to the OG RE4 is the typewriter theme, but I think I like Serenity's theme just a little bit more than a typewriter theme, so I had to put Serenity at number 3. At this point you can tell that most of my favorite songs in the franchise are the save room themes. Number 2, of course, is going to be Secure Place from the original RE2. Right off the bat, I think most people can agree why this one is so high up on this ranking, but let me explain why I like this song so much. I've seen a big majority of fans say that this is the game that got them introduced to the series, and I'm very proud to say that I also got introduced to Resident Evil through RE2. But when I first discovered RE2, it would have been because I would have watched my dad play the game on the PS1. The save rooms in the Resident Evil games always served as a good chance to take a break from the game and walk away for a little bit, which also in return served as a really good chance for someone like me at the time being very young to actually step in and give the game a go for myself. But of course, you would be crazy if you tried to go anywhere further than that save room, so as a kid you could easily just spend all day chilling in that save room, listening to that classic song over and over again. Now to top off this video, at my number 1 spot is Resident Evil Code Veronica X, A Moment of Relief. I just want to point out that I think Code Veronica X has the best kind of soundtrack in all of the RE franchise, and I think all around the game's music is pretty underrated. You guys can all feel free to let me know down in the comments if you agree or not, but I think that the Resident Evil Code Veronica music perfectly fits the atmosphere, especially when it comes to the palace and the mansion. Now, I'm not saying that Code Veronica is a bad game by any means, but I think that the music definitely helps carry that game a whole lot. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the whole soundtrack of Resident Evil Code Veronica I think just fits perfectly for the Ashford type of vibe that they were trying to give off. 2DX also has a very special place in my heart, so the nostalgia points are pretty high in this one too. But I suppose that's it, guys. That concludes my top 10 favorite Resident Evil soundtracks / music, or whatever the hell I'm gonna end up calling this video. But regardless of whatever I end up calling this video, hopefully you guys liked it, and go on to drop a big like on this video and comment down below what kind of other top 10 Resident Evil video ideas you want to see from me in the future. I do post Resident Evil content every single day, so feel free to hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a single daily upload. Also, very special shout out to my one and only YouTube Pro member and face of Reverse, Ico Pro Sam. But there we have it, guys. I will see you all in the next video tomorrow. Peace.